What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about moving to Tallahassee, Florida. As you guys know, me and my wife have traveled all over the United States. So when we make a video for you guys, you know you're getting hands-on, real-life information. The allure of most Florida cities are the beaches, but there are no beaches in Tallahassee. So how far from a real beach is Florida State Capital? What's it like to live here? That's what we're going to explore on this video. Perhaps you're attracted to the affordability, or you're going to be here to learn. Florida State University is among the best in the country, and Florida A&M is the 5th largest historically African American university by total enrollment. So it's understandable that there's a lot of things in this city that would attract a lot of people. Being the largest city in the Florida Panhandle and in the Florida Big Bend region, the headquarters for many government institutions, it's understandable that a lot of people are going to be moving here at some point. And the goal of this video is to help you understand what you can realistically expect from this city. First of all, there's not enough Cubans here, so that already makes it a crappy place. Luckily, there's a few Cuban restaurants, but they're not really authentic. When you get to the northern part of Florida, it's a whole different beast than South Florida. It's a lot less of the Caribbean and a whole lot more of the South, but there's still spots like Panama City Beach you can visit. The nearest beach to Tallahassee, where you can get real white sands, is Mexico Beach, and you're going to be about 2 hours away from that. On top of that, they're still recovering from hurricane damage. So, if you want a real beach experience, you're at over 2 hours to get to Panama City Beach. And yes, there's Alligator Point, they have white sand, but the water there, it's really murky and it's never going to be clear like you will in Panama City Beach or Miramar Beach. So while a lot of people tell you that you're about an hour away from a beach, you're an hour away from the coastline. If you want to see a real beach, you're going to have to go a little bit further than that. Understand the difference between a coastline and a real nice beach. So even though it is a good drive, trust me, it is so worth it. When I lived in central Alabama, it was about a 3 to 3.5 hour drive, and every mile of it was worth it. So being about 2 hours away from Panama City Beach really makes up for the fact that there aren't beaches directly in Tallahassee, but you are so close to some of the best beaches in Florida. The Panhandle is so underrated when it comes to its beaches. From Mexico Beach all the way to the Alabama border, these are some of the most beautiful beaches in the entire state of Florida. While not as popular as the beaches in South Florida, the likelihood of getting absolutely clear water and emerald green colors is so much higher here than anywhere else in the state outside of the Florida Keys. The Florida Panhandle is one of the most conservative places in the entire South. Not only that, they're also very vocal about it. Tallahassee is a university town. This contrast of opposing views and people being overly vocal about it really sucks. And keep in mind, you are in the deep South, segregated, and trying to reenact the Civil War. I mention it so that you understand that this is part of life in this area of Florida. You guys have asked me why I won't move to this region of Florida, and this is really the reason. So we'll leave it at that. Tallahassee is in the Deep South. In 2007, artist T-Pain, who is from Tallahassee, did a collaboration with Plies, who is from Fort Myers, Florida. The song Shawty was #1 for hip hop and rap billboards and just about took over Florida. Seemed like every teenager was dedicating that song to their boyfriend or girlfriend. Well, like I said, T-Pain's name refers to pain, all the pain that he suffered growing up in Tallahassee. So here's two sides of the coin. There's the student, and there's the person who's actually from Tallahassee, and it's just their hometown. I grew up in Florida, and a lot of the kids that I went to school with dreamed about one day going to Tallahassee. We heard stories about wild parties. Everybody was drinking and having a good time. But the reality of the resident of Tallahassee is a little bit different than that. So if you're a student and you're going to Tallahassee, I recommend you focus on what you're there for, which is to get your education, and you don't get caught up on the streets. Because there's two faces to this town. There's a young successful person that's going to do something great with their life, and then there are those on the sideline who are going nowhere. Perhaps for those people, the parties are long over and the sad reality is starting to set in. Know yourself, who you are not, and don't let other people pressure you into things that are not in your nature. Because there's a second side to Tallahassee. Some of the statistics that I use to gauge crime for my videos suggest that Tallahassee has some of the highest crime rate in the entire state. Violence and consumption are part of life here. That's why I say, if you're moving here to study and learn, you know who you are before you come to Tallahassee to ensure that you leave a better person than what you came. Because whatever you're looking for or whatever there is to find, it is present in Tallahassee. If you're moving to Tallahassee, it is advisable not to be out late at night. Many drivers are under the influence or driving erratically or extra violent, and it is not the best time to be out and about. While the locals from Tallahassee are some of the most kind, genuine, and friendly people, you'll notice the difference between the people who are from Tallahassee, the ones that are from there and have their families there, to have all these drunk idiots kind of overrun their hometown. Overall, the city is quiet in many sectors. Densely wooded, gentle rolling hills, and a lot of affordability. A distinctive charm of the city that you will find nowhere else but in Tallahassee. From the quiet, secluded front porches to the hanging oak trees, the city of Tallahassee has its own vibes, its own feeling that is unlike anything else you will find in the United States. There is no other city like Tallahassee. It has its own life, it has its own feel, and if it grows on you and you don't get murdered outside of a gas station, you'll be able to enjoy affordability, quiet lifestyle, and the ability to party whenever you want to until somebody gets shot. If you don't mind this environment that is present in the city, the affordability of buying in this town is incredible compared to other parts of Florida. If you have some money, there are some great deals here. Area north of Interstate 10 is my favorite. However, the rental market is a little bit more volatile, depending on what time of the year it is, when contracts expire or are renewed, when classes start or they end. There's a large fluctuation of people either leaving or entering the rental market. So when you are ready to move, you're going to need somebody on the ground to tell you exactly in which way this is moving. Anybody who's a local resident will be able to tell you exactly what time of the year you want to rent by and what time of the year it's going to be almost impossible. And it's really part of life in Tallahassee, a time of the year when there's evictions and garbage out by the road in huge piles, and a time of the year when people are looking for rent. You will need to tune in carefully into that if you're looking to rent. Being kind of a party city, it's probably not apt in the best conditions for families, unless you want to prepare your children for their education in college or universities a little earlier. Well, that made no sense. I'm glad I don't have kids right now. Yeah, if you have kids and you don't want to expose them to all that stuff, then probably not the place for you. If you're a parent and you're concerned to send your children to universities because of the bad environment in Tallahassee, Look into Auburn. It's a very wholesome and clean city, much less crime and much less bad environment. It is on Forbes' list of the best universities in the country. Very few universities in the South have this standing, with the vast majority of highly rated universities being in the Northeast. In fact, Florida is one of the few states in the South that has high-rated universities. Another great alternative is FIU and the universities on the south side of Miami. While expensive, Miami is a great experience for any young person. We hang out there at night all the time. It's super safe, great area to be in. The city is about 35% African American and a vast majority of them are residents. When I say residents, I mean like real hometown people, like they're actually from here. You'll know the difference because they're so friendly and kind and outgoing versus those who are just here to quote unquote learn. The city also has a 5% Asian population, extraordinary for Florida. I mean, the only Asian thing I've seen in Lehigh es una caja china. I'll tell you guys a little secret. When I left Alabama, I really considered Tallahassee. In fact, we actually made a trip to Tallahassee. You guys didn't know this, but me and Katie were looking at real estate. There's actually work here compared to other parts of Florida. And for $100,000 cash, we could have got a home here that would be at least twice that in South Florida. However, to be honest, the reason we decided against Tallahassee, I don't like young, rowdy people, and I don't like trashy ghetto stuff. And there's just too much of it in Tallahassee. This region of Florida has the highest crime rate in the entire state, even in rural areas. It's pretty shady to go out at night. In my Tallahassee videos, which have got a lot of views, there's a lot of interest in the city. I constantly see comments from people who say they're from here and they're so disappointed at what their city has become. This region of the South gets really strong cold fronts. If you really enjoy rainy days, you'll love Tallahassee. These storms are powerful, sometimes they even have tornadoes. And in the wintertime, there's always the possibility of snow. It's not guaranteed, but it's always a small possibility. Overall, if you're coming here to learn, it's a great city with lots of fun stuff to do. Between affordability, nature, new construction, new buildings, new hotels, it's a great place to visit or to live in temporarily. But if you're setting roots here for the long term, keep in mind that other people around you may be there for a short term just to have a little party. I think if the long-term perspectives for the city were great, then housing wouldn't be so affordable. But hey, let me hear your thoughts and opinions so you can contribute to this video and make it that much better.